Thank you for joining me for another Quick Hits conversation. I'm Dr. Robyn. With me today, I have Brandon Mahoney. He is the co-founder of LaunchPoint Labs, a national venture firm where he is an expert in creating sales departments. I have Gary Fredricks. He's the CEO of OnPoint Partners, where they provide back office services for small businesses. And I have Joey Robert Parks. He has written 32 books, 29 as a ghostwriter, and he is known for listening deeply to others, giving structure and meaning to their stories, and lending his words as the occasion calls for it. The question today: how has making and closing sales changed since 2020? Brandon, you jumped right in to kick us off.
Absolutely. So I'll start by saying I don't think anything actually has changed since 2020, the start of the pandemic. I think what it did is it accelerated changes that were already taking place. The biggest changes being we're seeing more individuals that are utilizing self-service, and we're seeing a lot more remote sales. So we're switching from the in-person going to a boardroom with a presentation to doing a PowerPoint presentation in front of a group just like this.
I started working in the 80s and everything was, you go to a restaurant, you'd have a drink or two, you'd make the pitch, they liked it, you'd get up after lunch and shake hands and deal was done. Then the paperwork would go back and forth. Nowadays, it's like the proposals go out, the presentations at the same time, everything's going out at the same time. And you can turn a sale over in a day. So that's what I've noticed.
Joey.
Yeah, it's what Gary said, but it's changed a lot pre-pandemic. I was doing all of my sales in person, large groups, large meetings every month, lots of gatherings, interacting, That stopped, and it still hasn't picked up at all. And that's fine. Man, it's a completely different world though, as far as getting leads and having to tune in and all right, okay, how do I do this? But you're really not in person. Zoom is it's like watching television and then being in television at the same time. It's a little strange.
The thing that I've noticed is I think that consumers have gotten more picky because they have more options. And what I mean is that pre-pandemic, I would often lose contracts because people would say, we love you, we think you're probably the best, we really want someone who's in person. No one says that to me anymore. No. I will get a client in Berlin or London or Hawaii just as quickly as I would get one locally because I don't see even the local ones in person.
Yeah, we've had the same situation because we do people's finances and we can do it online. We don't need to go to their office. I can understand a company wants to have a person there, but pre-pandemic, it was most of our clients or prospects that wanted you to be on site. During the pandemic, we rolled back on all those clients. We said, look, we're going to have to do this work from our office because of the pandemic. And now we don't do anybody's work from their location. Even if they have like desktop apps that we need to access, we have applications that can access that computer. So it's just changed everything. I don't like it as much personally.
Oh.
I grew up where the personal relationship was important, like me being able to see how a person's reacting to what I'm saying, or to see the body language and all that stuff.
It seems like there's I don't know if spirit is the word, but there's something that does not translate through Zoom. I mean, look, body language, well, I'm seeing you, I got your body language, but there's something that does not, you've got audible, you've got all these, but there's something that does not translate.
You can't see the little veins in the person's neck. They're standing up because they're angry at something you said, or a lot of little nuances. And I look at people's legs a lot because people move their feet and stuff. I can't see that anymore. So
that's true. That's true.
I feel like I have some really good, intense relationships with clients that are either Zoom or phone or even text. But I think that I might be the exception because people hire me to be able to share their personal, real, true feelings. And so there's not that veil that maybe most people experience when they're on these kind of systems.
There's definitely benefits to having Zoom. I'm working with people all over the world a lot easier now, a lot quicker.
Yeah, that stuff is easier. But great. We actually have a bigger reach now than we used to. We used to just work with clients in the greater Philadelphia area. Now we've got clients all over the country because it's much easier to work with them.
How has your sales process changed? What have you changed because you are now in this medium?
So I would say for us, it's understanding that it's no longer the case that when you're interacting with a potential customer, that they need you to educate them on your product and on the industry. They're already well educated. They're doing all their research ahead of time. They really just need to know what's the difference between you and your competitors. So you really need to become an expert, not just in what your services are, but you need to know your competitor's product almost as well as they know it themselves. There's no longer that personal, like you can go into a boardroom, shake somebody's hand, talk with them, have coffee. Now they jump on a call with you and it's just, they've got a list of questions that they want to get through and you have to get through them. And they're pretty on point questions usually.
A couple of things on the downside of it is I get promulgated with emails every day, that unsolicited emails where they make it sound like we've had a conversation already.
Right.
Following up on it. The other thing is I think people can lie more when they're hiding behind a screen, or if you don't have to put your face up.
When you were mentioning the boardroom and like getting to see body language, how are they sitting and as you're approaching the room and talking with everybody, how to get them engaged, you still have to do that on these Zoom calls, but it's just like it's different now. Now it's who's been muted for a long time and hasn't spoken, who doesn't have their camera on that you want to make sure is actually paying attention. So having to do all those things you had to do in person, you still have to do. It's just now you're doing it in a completely different kind of way.
It's curated. It's a different kind of curation than you curate when you're in front of somebody, right? There's a lot of, we're assuming that I'm wearing something nice underneath. We don't know, right? We'll never know. This is a nice little thing, but look, I'm in my kitchen. So it's a very different, I did an interview with somebody recently like, oh my gosh, look at Phoenix right now. Gosh, I wish I lived there. Look at that. I'm like, well, it's my kitchen, but thanks.
Is closing sales different?
For me, this was always important, but I found it even more heightened, and that is their pain points. The closing, their pain points in the beginning and listening. What's the facts, or how do you differentiate yourself? You don't have the in-person meeting them and then shaking and getting the warmth and then re-meeting them and them bumping into people. That's not happening. So
I would say once you've hit the point where like it's pretty clear to you that this is the service, the product that they need, and it's pretty clear to them as well, I think closing the deal has actually become a little bit easier. It's no longer the case that you have to get multiple people into a single room in person. Now they can join from their cell phone in their car. So getting people together to make that decision is a lot easier now.
And they do come more prepared as well. I think they do. Pre-pandemic, I think they didn't come as prepared. I would meet people all the time. And they didn't really know where they were just getting started, but because it's so focused on internet, this is internet essentially. So they're taking advantage of that more before they meet.
Yeah, I get to say that we send our proposals out via PenDoc. It's easy. They can sign it. They can make the first payment. They can do everything. But one swoop, or before you're waiting for them to actually print out the contract, scan them and sign it, and then send it back, and it took forever. There are a lot of pros to doing it this way. It's just, for me, it's the feel and the personal relationship, some of the small talk, getting to know somebody's family a little bit, to what they talk about. Just missing. And
speaking of the sending a proposal, what I love now is I don't send the proposal until we're on the call together in person. It's like, hey, let's discuss the proposal together. Okay, everyone's on. Now I'm gonna send it to you because I want to see your face and see how you react to that number.
Oh, that's incredible. It's actually a bit off topic, but when I have a chapter to review with a book I've written, I no longer send it to them in advance, and then I would like meet or talk on the phone or in person about it. Now I do a Zoom call, and then I give them the chapter and they read it sitting in front of me for the reactions and things like. So some things have gotten a lot easier and a lot less, especially for busy people. They love that.
Yeah, and you can edit proposals online.
Yeah, real time.
Can you change this wording a little bit? Yeah, sure, no problem.
I got it. I'm right here.
Time before you leave, absolutely.
Yeah, it's true as well.
So I do think it sounds like there are some good things that have come out of it. I know it has for me. My business had to pivot with the 2020 shutdown, and it's made a huge difference for me. And you were saying you can't just bump into each other. I bump into people on a regular basis on Quick Hits, and I love it. So thank you so much for bumping into me here today. That is our 10 minutes, so I'm going to cut us off there. I look forward to speaking to each of you again really soon.
Thank you, Robyn.
Thank you.